Now, this is a map that shows us this arc of volcanoes, the companion volcanic arc. Look at those volcanoes running there, running down in almost a crescent shape. We've got this arc of volcanoes. Italy is one of the most volcanic areas in the world. Who knew? I'd always heard of Hawaii, but Italy is highly volcanic. It's lots of earthquakes. It's because the Eurasian plate, if you remember tectonics from grade 8 geography, the tectonic plate of Eurasia and the tectonic plate of Africa clash. They rub up against each other in the area of the Mediterranean around Italy. Now, what happens when that goes on? Well, in Italy's case, you get three, count them, three active volcanoes, which have all erupted in the last 100 years. It's also got nine more dormant volcanoes. They could go off at any time. People are studying them, don't panic too much. Still, you can go on holidays to Italy, don't cancel anything. Vesuvius last erupted in 1944. It's an active volcano. In fact, the companion government, like a regional government, a state government in Australia, is very, very keen at trying to push people back from living too close to that volcano. Let's think about what happens when a volcano goes off. I'm going to put on my thoughtful face in a moment. We're going to watch two videos of Mount Etna, and Mount Etna is down here in Sicily. It went off in 2017. So let's look at what happened when a BBC film crew were on Mount Etna and it erupted. I'll interrupt the video every now and then and say a couple of things, but make sure you're watching it.
Mount Etna explodes, captured by a BBC crew as they filmed at Etna's summit on the island of Sicily.
See the snow on the mountain top?
As the volcano spewed out rocks and magma, the BBC crew and tourists visiting the site ran for cover. 10 people suffered injuries as a result of the eruption. We were up with a group of around 20 people and suddenly there was a small phreatic explosion. The lava flow hit some snow and the contrast between the cold and the heat generated this explosion. Those hurt suffered
Notice the ash and the lava,
burns and bruises.
the debris being thrown into the sky. Let's have a look at another video now, getting the same idea. We don't have volcanoes near Australia. Our closest ones are places like Hawaii. There's a bit of sort of tectonic activity down in New Zealand, but we also have stuff over at Bali in Indonesia. But really, Australia is very geologically stable. Let's have a look at what it's like in some of these other areas.
Europe's tallest and most active volcano, Mount Etna, has erupted, sending a vast plume of smoke and lava into the sky. The eruption did not cause significant disruption, although airspace over the southern Italian island of Sicily was briefly closed. Seismologists say the eruption was preceded by 15 small earthquakes.
Earthquakes happened before the explosion that destroyed Pompeii.
This is the 14th time that Etna has erupted in 2013.
14 in 20.
And while the volcano is almost constantly active, the last major eruption was in 1992. Whilst the eruptions themselves do not put the local population at risk, they do have to live with the ash showers that follow.
It's the ash shower that did so much damage to Vesuvius and Herculaneum. And we're really going to have to pay attention to that. Let's see what comes up next. Let's take a closer look now at Mount Vesuvius. And as this map, again from Google Maps, fantastic tool, when we're having a look at that map as it's playing, let's have a look also at this diagram to the right. So as we go in and have a look at Vesuvius, I want you to realize, like you can see above me, look up, look up, look up, look up. Once upon a time, Vesuvius was a cone volcano, round on all sides, pretty narrow, coming up like a round pyramid, you know, a cone. Okay, tip an ice cream cone upside down. After the Vesuvian eruption in 79 AD, it's exploded outwards and that crater's become huge. And you can still see the remnants of that. But over time, again, after further eruptions, we've got a different shape. We've got an inner volcano and an outer volcano now. The inner part is Mount Vesuvius. The outer is Mount Soma. Let's have a look. Mount Vesuvius, steep sides, but you can walk up. You can see the walking trails on it now. As you get up near the top, there's actually a gift shop. There's a cafe. Okay, there's lookouts, souvenir store. And we're going to drop in a moment and see what it looks like from up the top as you head out over the bay. So in we drop, whoop, and there we are on the top of Mount Vesuvius. Out the back is the Bay of Naples. We're now looking towards the top of the mountain and the cauldron is on the other side. Here is our gift shop, our souvenir shop, and down below in that area there is the area of Pompeii before we see the Sorrento Peninsula and the Isle of Capri. Out there again, the Bay of Naples, and it'll swing around a little bit more and you'll be able to see we're in the same spot again. We've come a full 360-degree view. So as you saw in that video, ash is one of the main reasons that we have all sorts of problems with volcanoes. Ash is what grounds aircraft flying over volcanic areas as it gets spewed up high into the atmosphere and gets sucked into jet aircraft engines. With the 79 AD eruption of Vesuvius, ash really preserved and buried, but preserved our sites for archaeologists. Have a look at the location of Pompeii on this map on the right. Pompeii was buried under 200 centimetres of ash. 200 centimetres of ash. That's taller than I am. 2 metres of ash. We also have other areas experiencing 100 centimetres, 50 centimetres. Herculaneum, not really a major ash area, but let's face it, it got ash as well. Let's look at our diagram here on the left. Okay, so Pompeii, in total, 4 metres of debris. Okay, now that's gas and ash and rock and pumice. Now some people use pumice in the bath. They use it to scrub. It's a rock, but it actually floats. There's Bribie Island's passage. There's a strip of water between Bribie Island and Caloundra, and it's actually called Pumice Stone Passage. You can find the floating rocks called pumice there. Herculaneum, it's covered with 20 metres of debris. 20 metres of debris. Now, it's a lot closer to that volcano, so the ash isn't being blown over like it was in Pompeii. It's being covered with the ash, gas, hot ash, rock, pumice, you name it. 20 metres of debris. Get your head around how much that is. The Olympic diving tower, when people dive into swimming pools at the Olympics, the highest location is 10 metres. This is a 20-metre burial of a settlement, of a town. That's a lot of debris burying a town, and you won't want to live there when that's coming down. That's going to destroy your whole community.